Local news, local issues, local views. Wellington Mornings with Nick Mills and Wellington Airport, connecting Wellington to the world. Newstalk ZB.
Take me home, home. Every time I leave, it still feels a part of me. Home, home. Nothing can beat your friends and your family.
That's a little bit of home from Kaylee Bell. Right Honourable Prime Minister
Now,
Christopher Luxon's
Nick, I saw you bopping along to that. You quite like that, didn't you?
I did like that.
Yeah, that's New Zealand country music. Kaylee Bell, she's big in Australia, big in the US, probably not that well known in New Zealand, but all from Timaru, from memory. So, amazing young woman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DJ Christopher Luxon.
Good to be with you, Nick. It's great to be with you.
Lovely to have you here. Let's talk about the timing of this, because this is about the halfway point. Well, it is the halfway point because you're swapping deputies shortly this week. So, halfway point. I really want to ask you how you're doing. How are you feeling? Are you okay? Are you enjoying it?
Oh, absolutely loving the job. You know, personally, at a personal level, it's a huge responsibility, but it's hugely rewarding as well. You get to see amazing New Zealanders each and every day doing incredible things. Tremendous privilege to do the job. It's been a very tough time, no doubt about it. I was with economists this morning and we're looking at the numbers, and it's been essentially like the recession of the early mid-90s, and we inherited a hell of a mess, and we're having to fix it up and sort it out, and that just means you've got to think deeply about the problem that you've encountered or you've inherited, and then what's the common sense solution to sort of work your way through it. So,
how's the family? How are the family reacting to it? I mean,
great.
Still fish and chips on a Friday now and again?
Yeah, I mean, still date night on Saturday night. We're off to went to see Mission Impossible, Amanda and I, and at the Westfield. So that was great. But no, look, I mean, honestly, from a family life point of view, I mean, I've done a lot of extreme jobs in my past, and Amanda had her career as well, and we were overseas, and so we're a very tight foursome. And to be honest, for us, in terms of our internal family dynamic, nothing's really changed that much. And I really want Amanda and the kids to be able to carry on their life without it being defined too much by what I do. But having said that, they're happy to get engaged when they need to as well.
An honest answer here, and I'll be able to tell by body language if it's not. If you had your time again, would you have done it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No question?
Oh, no question at all. Yeah, no question whatsoever.
I can tell listeners that he was very determined when he said that.
Yeah, I was kind of fortunate because, obviously, John Key was a good mate, and I saw him do the job up close. I also chaired Jacinda's Business Advisory Council. I saw her do the job up close for a period of time as well. So, I kind of knew what I was getting into, and it's been everything. The hard stuff comes to your desk, right? I mean, if it's easy, it gets solved somewhere else in the system. But we've had to deal with tough decisions.
Do you feel that you're spending too much time, and a CEO, I'm talking to you as CEO to CEO, are you spending too much time appeasing the coalition partners? Is it stopping you from being yourself and going?
No, I said from day one, look, we're doing something that's never been done before in New Zealand politics. We've got a three-party coalition government. It's not unusual. I mean, go look at Western Europe that has an MMP system. You see often 4, 5, even up to 10 party coalitions. But you're
still not answering my question is, would you be actually more effective if you could just run it yourself and just go?
Oh, well, I'm sure, but that's not the system that we have, and the New Zealand public, rightly or wrongly, have chosen MMP as the system that they want us to deal with, and so, they vote on an election day. We talk about driving party votes, because that gives you more stronger and stable government, but ultimately, then they give us a result on election night, and it's up to us to find a way to make it work, and then when you form a coalition government, in the same way, I had to, reinvigorate and turn around the National Party, given when I came on board, it was at our low point, and we've had to form a team. We do the same in the coalition as well. So it doesn't mean we agree on everything, as you can see from time to time, and that's okay. That's quite normal in mature MMP environments.
Personally,
but the vast majority, we're very aligned on what we're trying to do.
Personally, I felt that the relationship between you and Winston's been great. I really enjoy working with him. I really do. I think. I find him, he's a relational guy, and he's got experience and wisdom. We might say things differently, but, I've really enjoyed working with him, and I'll continue to do so. Now, it changes this week, huh?
Yeah, look, we change Deputy Prime Minister. But, in New Zealand, it's going to be pretty seamless, really. I mean...
Will you be able to control David Seymour? Will you be? I mean, he's going to be a lot different to Winston Peters, isn't he?
Well, I mean, they're different people and different personalities, and they operate in different ways. And my job is to make it work, and so that's what I do. I do that, as I said, within the National Party. I do it with the coalition. But I just say to you, look, what is the Deputy Prime Minister role? It's there to be the acting Prime Minister when I'm incapacitated or out of the country, right? And we've had moments when both Winston and I've been out. David's done a great job. So I think it'll be a pretty seamless transition.
We have seen it with Winston, though. He has taken on a very senior leadership role within your coalition, hasn't he? I mean, and very effectively, internationally and nationally.
I think, you're seeing a big step up in our foreign affairs activity. Winston's a key part of that. So is, Todd McClay, frankly, on trade, Judith on defence, and myself, building those leader-to-leader connections at the top-to-top level as well. So, the four of us work together very, very well as a team. We meet regularly, and we've deliberately tried to lift the intensity and the urgency of those relationships for sure.
OCR, before I'm going to get into Wellington stuff because you're on a Wellington show and it's great to have you here. And so I want to talk about Wellington issues. But OCR today, 25 points or 50 points. Christian Hawkesby, what a great name for isn't it it's a movie star name, isn't it? I mean, is he going to be bold? Do you reckon he might go? I mean, you already know. You don't try and tell me you don't know.
No. We have an independent reserve bank, so as you know, and
so
I've got to respect that.
At this time of the day, you don't know.
I have my reckons as I reckon what he'll do, like everyone else in the country. But I don't officially know. No, I don't know. I don't find out until 2 o'clock. So, but I just think you've seen commentators say they're expecting a further cut, which I think would be which we'll see. But
do you think he's bold enough to go 50?
Well, I mean, everyone will have their reckons, and I'm not going to get into that game, and it's not appropriate that I do, given the position I hold. But I just say to you, what's important here and is that you've got to have monetary policy working with fiscal policy, and that was the problem that we had under the previous administration. Both were printing cash and spending money like nothing, and then they applied the banks at the Reserve Bank and took the interest rates up, and meanwhile you still had the money, and deficits being incurred through the Labor government's fiscal policy. We've now got those two things together, and that's what you want to see, actually, the monetary and fiscal policy working together to deal with the impacts that we've had to deal with respect to the recession.
But you will, I mean, I've got to go to an ad break, but you will be disappointed if it doesn't go 25.
I think all commentators are expecting a further cut, as you'd reasonably expect. Yep.
Right. Take a short break. We're with the Prime Minister Christopher Luxon, the Right Honourable Christopher Luxon, in the studio till 10:30. It's 14 minutes past 10. We'll take a short break and be back with the Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Prime Minister Christopher Luxon in the studio. I want to centre on Wellington.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like that.
Well, I just want to confirm, are you running for mayor or not?
No, I'm not running for mayor. Don't look at me like... Why are you looking at me like that when I say I'm going to ask you questions about Wellington? Because you know I'm a Wellington businessman and I'm under the table starving and hard. You need a meal and you didn't even bring a club sandwich with you. It's tough. It's tough here in Wellington. The economy's slow. We're grinding, we're trying to be population. We've got trying to get the population going. We've got a stagnant population.
Yeah.
Public service cuts. I mean, we're doing it tough.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think, well, the first thing I'd say, look, is, yeah, I lived here in the, early mid-90s. You know, I came out of university, Amanda and I moved here, newly married, and what a great city it was. You know, like, it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, it was pumping. There was lots of smart young people here. There was people being highly innovative, lots of culture going on. And it was a different city from anything else that was possible in New Zealand, right? It really had its mojo going. And we want to see it coming back, right? We want to see that. And I think, the reality is that, you've got to chart a course of actually, well, what do you want in Wellington? And we want to see it growing. We want to see it doing incredibly well. We've got amazing businesses.
Do we need the public service numbers up to actually make Wellington grow? Because I mean, that's where we're hurting, isn't it?
Well, no, I disagree. I think you've lost your way, if I'm really honest. I think you've got way too much ideology and party politics in your local government. I think you need to focus on actually common sense solutions to problems that people are experiencing in the region. Take responsibility for it and sort it out for people. That's really what I think the job of all politicians, central or local government's about, is just solving problems and making sure you set things up for a better future.
But we have suffered under the fallout, haven't we? And is there more to come?
Well, there's been, but Wellington should be more than just a public service town.
Yeah, but we are the capital city, aren't we?
But we also had, we've just gone and invested $500-something million in film rebates in this country, and when you think about the glory days of Weta, and you think about the amazing businesses like Sharesies and Zeros, and I was out in the Hut recently. I think amazing manufacturing businesses that are out there. There's ambition and aspiration in Wellington, and it's got to be unlocked and actually put moving forward. But you've also got to have a council that does the basics well. Like, I mean, manage the water. You don't need a Labour or Green Party policy to work out how the bins are going out or being collected. That's pretty basic stuff. So
I want to get to our council because I do want to get your thoughts on what we can do better with that. But the Otaki Expressway, there's been a lot of disappointment over the last few days. I don't know whether you picked up on it or not. You've cut the budget and put a roundabout instead of the over, and you've gone from 4 lanes to 2 lanes. There's lots of business people out there that felt that was really needed. We as a region felt that it was really needed, but it's a cost-cutting exercise, isn't it?
Well, no, it's about, first and foremost, we're doing it. The last lot talked a lot but didn't do much at all, frankly. Or had a lot of phantom projects with bumper stickers and post-it notes, but nothing actually happening. So we're doing it. It's quite right that we look at it to make sure that we're getting maximum value for money out of it, but also it's something that's out for consultation now, and we'll hear the news of the community and what they think about all of that. So there's no final decision made.
Deal.
No, but it's quite right that the NZTA look at it and make sure that we're getting good value for money for and is it going to meet the purpose? And so let's let that process run through and see where we get to.
So, as Prime Minister, when you spend a lot of time in Wellington, let's be fair. So you're still, still sleeping the nights here. You're still wandering the streets. You're here. What's going wrong? What do you think is wrong with Wellington?
Well, look, I mean, you got Christchurch that's made a big play for the, supercars, and which has been great. You've got Auckland making a big play for Sail GP. What's Wellington doing? This is an awesome city. It was a great city, and it can be, and it should be. We want it to be firing, pumping, and doing well. It's more than just a public service town. It's more than just the capital city. It's got real strings to its bow in terms of technology and creative industries and all those sorts of things. That's what we should be doing. But I remember actually being here. I think you probably remember, Nick. I remember the supercars used to be here in Wellington at one point. There's probably too many judder bars and stuff going on. Sevens was amazing, right? That was incredible. It was an incredible tournament. So
now we're left with WOW.
Yeah, but I mean, what is Wellington doing to attract events here? What are they doing to attract businesses here? The other day I crossed Molesworth Street to go up to the supermarket, and literally half of Molesworth Street's been turned into a bike lane. A lot of businesses you can't park outside of now because we've got a whole bunch of palaver in the middle of the city. So
honestly, you got to ask the question, well, what are we doing to attract businesses here? What are you doing to attract events here? What is the vision for where the city can go? And it's got an exciting future, but you've got to plan it. And if you're all in the myopia of the squabbles internally and nothing's actually happening, well, life moves on, and people have got choices as to where they put their businesses. They've got choices as to where they send their events. We want Wellington in the mix.
Okay, great segue, because I want to talk about the council. Because last time that we spoke, which was quite a while ago, you said that you weren't interested in putting anyone from the government to intervene. We've now got an observer.
Yeah, we put an observer in.
Yeah, we've got issues in our council, haven't we?
Yeah, but I mean, I just put it to you, in local government, that's for local people to determine who they want representing their community.
So there should be no government involvement in it at all?
No, we've put a Crown observer in because we've been concerned about a few things. We didn't put the Crown, you were asking me the question last time about Crown management. That's a different step again, but the Crown observer is the first step. But the issue here is that, you've also got a population that doesn't always vote in local body elections. If you've only got 35 to 40% voter turnout and 60% of people aren't voting, they are unconsciously choosing, rightly or wrongly, that this is the bunch of people they want representing them in local government. So my message is to put some responsibility on individuals to say you got to shape what you want, and you've got to have candidates in there that actually want to solve problems and do public service and focus on the people of Wellington, not on themselves.
Do you feel the observer's made any difference whatsoever? Do you think it's done anything for us?
Well, I think it's given us some. We need to make sure that we've got a council that is financially literate, making good investment decisions. But again, we have local government for a reason, and it is for local communities, and we believe in devolution and we believe in localism, and it's up for them to step up to the plate and deliver for the region.
Rates in the city, and I've heard you talk several times about the rates around the country. Rates are a major issue here. We have people that cannot afford to live in their retirees, worked all their lives, got a freehold home in Kandala or Wadestown, cannot afford to live in their homes. They're selling and moving to the smaller cities because they can't afford the rates.
Yeah, but here's a good example, right? Look at the compare and contrast of Auckland and Wellington. Auckland was proposing something like a 24-25% rate rise. It basically separated its water care assets into a council-controlled entity, and there was a number of options, and they chose one, which we were very supportive of. That all of a sudden freed up $800 million worth of capital for being investment in other infrastructure, and the council lowered its rates increase to 6.5% or something. So, again, look at Wellington Water, a total basket case, right, in terms of not managed, not structured in the right way, not set up as a council-controlled organisation. We haven't had the Wellington district councils come forward with a regional or city deal at this point.
Although they have voted for it, haven't they?
It's lovely, but so there's lots of other. We've got lots of other district councils collaborating well with really well developed strategies that are coming to the government with thoughts and ideas, and will pick up and work with the first and best dressed. And so it's in their hands to choose how they want it to be. And if you just want to make everything ideological and party political rather than actually in local government, I think your job is not that. I think your job is actually do the basics brilliantly, collect the rubbish, fix the pipes, make sure it's got good amenities, and make sure you're solving problems for people.
Can I ask you your thoughts on party politics in council?
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't run National Party folk in local government, as you know. I think those are decisions for local people to make. We have a local government set up. We have 1,600 plus, I think, elected officials across this country, and a lot of district councils and regional councils on top, and then we have central government as well. Ultimately, that's for local people to make those decisions as to who's representing them. Wellington's got lots of smart people in it. It's got amazing businesses. It's got a really great proposition that's there, and it can have a great future, but they've got to choose to happen to their future, not have it happen to them.
They can. What are your thoughts on Andrew Little running for mayor?
Well, I don't pass comment on anyone who's standing for mayoral candidates, because I don't think you need a prime minister endorsing candidates or not. I think that's really a decision for local people. But again, I'd just say you need to focus on the basics and not the do the must do's well, not the nice to do stuff at the moment. Get the house in order financially and stop the party political ideological stuff.
Can the government do anything to prevent the current council and the current mayor for signing off huge big contracts? I mean, you would know that the Golden Mile is contentious as hell here in Wellington. Is there anything that we can do to say, hey, you've got an election in 6 months, please don't sign $100 million contracts now and leave it to the next council? Because you've spent a bit of this show already talking about what you inherited.
Yeah, look, I mean, the pathway for central government, because we're there to look after New Zealand Inc. and New Zealand as a central government. We, as I keep saying, we elect local government. You've got to hold the local government politicians to account for actually saying, well, what are you doing, given all the innate brilliantness that's in Wellington, and how do you get it realised? That's up to them to deliver that. We can put a Crown Observer.
You still haven't kind of answered me.
No, but what are the options for me in central government? Crown Observer, Crown Manager, Statutory Management, right? Or Commissioner Government.
Does it concern you? I mean, I know what you're saying. I'm not trying to argue with you, but I'm just saying, does it concern you that could happen?
Well, no, I mean, we will do what we need to do if we see utter dysfunction in the place. But I just put it back. I actually want people taking some responsibility in Wellington for what you've got happening here in Wellington. It's a big city. It's an important city to New Zealand. I lived here. I love this place. It's got so much potential. But other cities are moving forward and things are happening. And instead, the focus is internal. It's myopic. It's on themselves rather than on the people of Wellington. And I can tell you, I meet people of Wellington every day, every week. I came from a breakfast this morning of business people. They've got ambition and aspiration and positivity and can do, and they want to get the joint on the road as well. So whoever is the next mayor needs to have a vision of where that's going to. They need to get the finances under control. They need to think and be very financially literate, because there's lots of different ways you could structure it to get growth back into the place. And it's got a great future. But that's for the people of Wellington to step up to the plate and actually show up at an election, vote, find good candidates, get good people into those jobs, and deliver for the city.
Can I finish by asking you about the sad news? I mean, I don't know whether you've been seeing this silly thing called Run It Straight, this thing. I mean, we just lost a young life, Ryan, 19-year-old in Palmerston. Have you got any advice to people that are running these organised so-called sport? I don't want to call it sport, Yeah. I know, that would be hurting you.
Yeah, look, it's incredibly tragic for the young person involved, for their family, for their friends. I mean, it's just an absolute tragedy. It's a good reminder to people to take, personal responsibility, for individual responsibility, to think about, the activity. But I'd also just say to adults and sports influencers and celebrity influencers or whatever it is that's sort of driving this craze, that actually, they should be thinking and reflecting very strongly about it now. But it's not something you can practically ban at a government level. But it's just calling for people to exercise individual responsibility, but also for the adults involved in all of this to think very deeply about what they're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I really appreciate it. So what we've
confirmed is you're not running for mayor.
Beg pardon?
What we've confirmed is you're not running for mayor.
Well, we confirmed that a while ago, but, you were only concerned that I was running for Labor. That was the only thing that concerned you. Let's be fair. No, you weren't concerned about me running for mayor. It was just that you thought I was running on a Labor ticket.
Honestly, I said it before, but I think Wellington's got a great future. But, we've got to get the show on the road now. And, you've got to stay focused on doing the basics well and get the party, political, ideological stuff out of it and focus on common sense solutions for people.
Do you think we can do it?
Of course we can. There's so much talent in this city. There's got to be talented people who want to step up to the plate and actually.
We've got 3,000 people from overseas working for Weta.
Honestly,
that's awesome, isn't it?
It's amazing. Like I was with Sir Richard Taylor recently. He's got his Unleashed experience up in Auckland, and it's just a phenomenal organisation, right? I mean, we've just gone and backed the film industry with a massive subsidy. I think $577 million from memory, and that's awesome. But think about all the ancillary businesses that can come off the back of that sort of investment, and what Wellington was doing, can do, is pretty exciting. So look, we get the future we deserve, right? And we deserve the best, so let's go for it.
Appreciate your time. Right Honourable Prime Minister Christopher Luxon joining us on Wellington Mornings. It's 10:31.